Breaking news, everybody. It's the first padded practice they just concluded. There's a lot of exciting things to talk about. A fight almost broke out involving a linebacker and an offensive lineman, things of that nature. There's some roster moves to talk about, some injury updates, things of that nature. Without further ado, we're just going to fly straight on into it. So first and foremost, Fred Johnson, quote unquote, pancaked Zach Bond. Zach Bond didn't like it, so he ran up on him to shove him and whatnot. The fight was avoided, but the intensities is definitely ramping up. Things of that nature, according to Brandon Lee Gouton. Shout out to him. Definitely give him a follow. He gets all the news, pretty fast, as well as, some later sources. I'll, talk about things of that nature. Tyron Davis Price, he's had 4 drops in just the last 2 practices. That's pretty concerning. So he's probably going to get cut. I was actually rooting for him, things of that nature, but obviously, stuff happens. The NFL. We're on the offensive side. We're seeing a lot more play action. 3-4 rollout with Jalen. He only missed 1 time, or however he's 3 out of 4. My bad. I'm just super excited about all the other stuff we got to talk about. Johnny Wilson, he had a really nice touchdown versus Keely Ringo. Was making a pretty strong case for a cornerback 1, but obviously 6'7" wide receiver. There's only so much you can do. Yeah, 5'11". Rashad Penny, he's retiring, former Eagle. Much respect to him. Wish him the best in retirement. He's helped us out, and he was a respectable guy. Next up, Landon Dickerson. He tweaked his knee yesterday at practice. Shipley got a red zone first team look, so that's pretty intriguing. A lot of people were asking what would his role be. Oh, he's not so elusive, and Mr. Fumbles, but he actually looked pretty good out there. Had some runs, had some catches, things of that nature, and then even then, the other day, he was pretty dominant. But even then, I know it's just practice, but take it with a grain of salt. But this is padded up, so. Defensively speaking, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., he made a play on the run. It was a pretty nice play. Jalen Carter, a little bit of rent incoming, but Jalen Carter was absolutely freaking bullying Mekhi Becton. He was throwing him around, and yeah, he was doing it all practice, quote unquote, swatting them, and he got like multiple pressures on Hurts and whatnot. So he's definitely looking special, because Mekhi Becton is good. I'm not gonna change the energy or however, but Jalen Carter is just that much better. C.J. Gardner Johnson, he also had a really, really, really good day. Things of that nature. He hit Saquon after a short pass, and then he also stopped a run play in the backfield. So not only did he start off, obviously he's a safety or however, but he got all the way to the backfield and stopped it in the backfield. So before the supposed line of scrimmage or the hypothetical line of scrimmage. I know it's just practice, but after all, they are putting pads, so you can put a little bit more stock into it. You know what I'm saying? You can actually okay, it actually means a little bit more. So absolutely exciting to talk about. I'm gonna switch back to Jalen Carter. I absolutely think he's gonna be top 5 in his position, defensive tackle, obviously. But yeah, I definitely think he's gonna have an absolutely monster year. You know what I'm saying? Because last year I think he was top 10, top 15. I don't think he wore down. I think he's the only one that I can vouch for. Point me to a bad game. There was a game to where he was the only one to score a touchdown, and he's a defensive lineman. Because the other team was up like 20 something points. However, I can't remember which game it was. They were all freaking aggravated. We struggled to win all of them, um, but yeah, it was like towards the end of the season or however, and yeah, he was like one of the only ones to score other than like a couple field goals or however. But yeah, so yeah, C.J. Gardner Johnson, yeah, like I said in my last video, I think he felt disrespected by that or however. He was even talking more crap, saying like, oh, I had way more ball production than than number 7, and he said, oh, having Kevin Byard number 9 or however, he was overhyped, yada yada yada, because he was trash. He was not top 10. You know what I'm saying? Not even top 15. Bottom of the league. Dude looked like he should retire. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, definitely not accurate. Um, Regardless of scheme or however, how he looked is how he looked. You know what I'm saying? And how he looked is he wasn't top 10 or however. Kevin Byard, and he said Fournette or whatever his name was or however, something like that. But whoever was ranked number 7, I'll go ahead and put the picture back up. But yeah, he said that he had like way more ball protection than number 7 and whatnot. Then he was saying like, oh, I'm going to boycott Madden and things of that nature. So I definitely think he's gonna, try to go off. I mean, 2 really good explosive plays. You know what I'm saying? With the pads on, he's ready. He's ready. I definitely think he's gonna have a really big year. Um, Next up, Milton Williams. He deflects a Jalen pass at the line of scrimmage, things of that nature. Obviously, nobody knew who it was intended to because, I mean, it didn't get past the line of scrimmage. Um, but yeah, Milton Williams, pretty good backup or however. Obviously, since there is pads, you know what I'm saying? I mean, definitely put at least a little more stock into it. It was, either 7 on 7 or 11 on 11, either one. But yeah, definitely still exciting. Quinyon Mitchell, he blankets AJ Brown, quote unquote, blankets or however, like locks him down or however. I'm seeing that like everywhere on everyone's videos and thumbnails. Like, CJ, whatchamacallit, Quinyon locks down AJ or however. Quinyon blankets AJ or however, and so I mean that's what it sounded like. And then obviously I'm seeing everywhere that he said that it was like a trash route or however, just like he did in practice or however. But heck yeah, like I said, I mean there's pads, so you can put a little bit more stock into it. Like I said, it's definitely exciting to talk about. Um, but yeah, Nakobe Dean, he had a nice play versus Will Shipley. On the run, obviously, I would assume it was similar to Trotter's. I think that's like the very first time we've heard about Nakobe Dean in training camp. We've heard quite a bit about Jamire Trotter. Him talking to Fangio, him having pass breakups, things of that nature, and him, looking pretty good in coverage. After all, like I said, and not just like I said, because I'm not the only one to say it, because I mean I found it online, but he was the second best linebacker in coverage. So I mean I definitely think Fangio's going to use that. Um, so in terms of roster moves, because of the injuries and whatnot, Tyler Steen hurt his shoulder or his ankle or however. Uh, Keegan hurt his shoulder and he's limited on practice. Saquon Barkley obviously perfectly fine or however came back personal reasons. Um, and then what was the other one? Burks for his knee. Leonard Dickerson, like I said, he tweaked his knee, and then yeah, Oren Burks is out. Leonard Dickerson, he was out. He walked back to like the sidelines, but I didn't see him like actually get back into practice or however the case may be. But yeah, and then Burks' knee, I don't know, how bad it is or however the case, but he's a respectable, player. However, he's not a bum. You know, I respect all NFL players. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of skill to make the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I mean, depending is an opinion. But yeah, in terms of roster moves, like I said, we signed offensive lineman Nick Gates. He has experience with centers. He's one of the guys that flipped off the Eagles fans. I'll go ahead and put the picture up. I think it was Brendan Lee Gowton. He tweeted it out or however, saying Eagles just signed the guy who gave Eagles fans the respectful finger, however the case may be. Something like that is what he said. But yeah, he's 28. He's had a lot of leg injuries. Um, so it sounds like he's kind of injury prone for the legs, but it just sounds like a camp body. Uh, I believe it was, like I said, I believe it was Brendan Lee Gowton, but he said, or was it Ian Shore Parks or Elliot Shore Marks or Parks or however you pronounce it, but yeah, whoever it was said that said that he thinks that it's more than just a training camp body, that his size and versatility can help and whatnot in terms of rotational or however, and he does have starting experience. So I mean, I think that in and of itself is good, but to make room for him, the Eagles released Mario Goodrich. I knew he was on the Eagles or however, but I mean, I don't really, I mean, he's a solid player. I mean, I don't think he's particularly garbage. I just don't think he's really got enough opportunities on the field. Um, but yeah, I wish him all the best. Hope he does good wherever he goes next and things of that nature. Um, But yeah, he played center and guard last year, and right tackle a little bit. He played 641 snaps at center last year. Um, Overall, I think my final thoughts are, I like the intensity on both sides of the field. You know what I'm saying? The like the tackling drill, that I seen Quinyon do the other day. Like all of like the ball security drills I seen them doing today and things of that nature. I'll definitely try to get like more and better videos and things of that nature. Um, but yeah, definitely something to be excited for. Seeing explosive plays, Zach Bond definitely the starter. And again, for everyone asking who's going to be a starter on defense, it's slowly but surely becoming obvious. Or however, for linebackers, since there's less to sift through and less people to give chances, or however the case may be. I mean, I honestly think it's Devin White and Zach Bond, barring any serious injury, knock on wood. But yeah, and then after that, I mean, I think Trotter can can win the battle, or however from there over Dean. Better in coverage. He looks like a little bit more muscular. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think their speed is about the same. Um, but yeah, next up, I also think that Howie's still making moves. You know what I'm saying? I think obviously the time to sign Simmons is now. You know what I'm saying? A 1 year, $15, $18 million deal, $4 or $5 million in incentives. If you get a couple picks, or however the case may be, the more picks you get, the more money you get. Up to like 25 million a year, however the case may be. You know what I'm saying? To be all right. I mean, at safety, will be all right. We need that. Because as of right now, the whole thing with Cooper DeJean, and then, Bradbury and Avonte Maddox, and, I mean, I don't know. The only safety I trust or have right now is uh CJ Gardner Johnson. In my opinion, that's the only one that's really trustable. I mean, Reed Blankenship is solid. Please, don't twist my words. I'm not saying he's bad or however. He's solid. But I mean, if you're able to get Justin Simmons, get Justin Simmons. If you have 20 something million cap space or however, you know what I'm saying, sign him on like a 15 million deal or however, and then with incentives or however the case, however that works, just do it that way. Jordan Davis, um, C.J. Gardner Johnson and Jalen Carter, not in any particular order, however, but all three of them, I think defensively, those are going to be the defense bankers in the secondary. C.J. Gardner Johnson is going to become the captain this year, you know what I'm saying, and he's going to dominate his area, you know what I'm saying, and then I think Jordan Davis, obviously, and Jalen Carter. I think they're obviously going to have huge years, or however the foundation of the defensive line. I mean, yeah, I think they're gonna have absolute monster freaking years this year. Multiple sacks, couple quarterback pressures, things of that nature. Maybe a couple of deflections, um, or PBUs, or however the case may be. But yeah, and then obviously I think Barkley, looks pretty explosive. He looks really good. Nothing concerning there. But yeah, overall really excited. I think we're going in the right direction. Looks really physical, really competitive. Um, I mean, like I said earlier, there's almost a fight. I mean, at least one or two fights. You know what I'm saying? Training camp fights. With the pads on. You know what I'm saying? At least a couple a year. It's good for the team. And got to happen. Competition got to be fierce. You know what I'm saying? And everyone got to be willing to sacrifice for the next guy and whatnot. And so, but yeah, overall, I think that's gonna do it for today's video. I really appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate all the comments, feedback, and everything like that. Subscribe if you're new. But I think it's going to do it. God bless. Philly out. Peace.